Hello everybody, and welcome to another lap of the Nürburgring. Today we're going to be driving an SLS AMG, and not off to a good start with a little bit of contact. I thought there was no clipping in the pits. Anyway, away we go. So I was lucky and managed to catch a server reset, so lots of traffic up ahead. You're going to see a great shot in a second that just sums it up. Yeah, here we are. Lots of traffic out in front. Everybody's going at once who's not away from their wheel, controller, keyboard, whatever you're driving. And we are off to the races. You can see me now on the left side with the lights on. So we're quite a ways back. So we should see a lot of, fun stuff happen here. Got an Audi R8 going for a rather ballsy pass right off the bat. Luckily, we're both competent drivers, so it's no big deal. And then we get a bit of an incident. We find ourselves in a bit of an incident right away. Something happened between those two BMWs. I tried following the R8. The door closed right away. Got in a head-on with a BMW somehow. Whatever. It's, not even, how do I say? It's before what I even consider to be the first corner, so I just shake it off and keep going. Right on our friend's tail again, just waiting for an opportunity to go by. And, well, here it is in the form of a white Julia drifting lifelessly across the track. Sends him onto the shoulder, and I managed to just squeak by, no problem. Unfortunately, when he comes back onto the track, he still can't get control and spins out again. And I think that's the end of him for the lap. Now I got a little bit of a gap to close up. And they're going to help me out. They're going to start pitting each other viciously into the wall. So I'm right on this Ferrari's tail now, thanks to that. And it's kind of hard to tell if I'm on his tail because of the car's cornering capability or the driver's. You really can't tell. So there's no sense sweating it. But he does take off in the straight. That car's straight line speed is just superior to the SLS. There's no fighting it in a straight line. I just have to hope he makes mistakes in the corners. Clearly, I've got the bigger balls, though, as I don't brake until after the crest. And that can play a big factor in any kind of driving experience. So we'll see how that pans out. Coming up to one of the fastest sections of the track. In my last video, we were out running a BMW here, hitting rev limiter in 6th gear. You can see a little bit of contact between the Ferrari and the Alfa, and the Alfa cannot get himself collected before the braking point, and is spinning out a big puff of smoke up ahead, and the Ferrari magically turned himself around. That was a neat trick. Gets himself off the track, even better. And we have caught up to our R8 friend who has just lost control. So, a lot happened in a very little bit of time, and we've quickly found ourselves sort of in no man's land. It looks on the minimap up at the top left like there's a great distance between me and the people up in front, and there is, but because we're going so fast here, you can see behind me that distance is growing too, to the person behind. Very fast around the section, keeping well clear of the curb. Somehow that Alfa caught up, but I think that's the last of him. Just neat and tidy through here. Very patient coming off around this corner, usually in 2nd gear. I go to 3rd early just to make sure I don't spin, because that just kills your time. And I'm trying to catch up to people here to witness hilarity and chaos, so we've got no time to break loose. Flying around this section here a little early, but keeping it together. It's no big deal, It's a fun section. We're actually carrying a lot of speed around this corner here. Just chilling in 3rd gear. It's no big deal. Coming down here, breaking up nice and early. And just up ahead here, we get our first sighting of the star of the show today, who is this beautiful yellow bird. That lovely Porsche. The RUF? I don't know. Tell me how you guys pronounce it. Anyway, this is a section I've been struggling with quite a lot lately. So it was nice to finally find a decent line through there and carry some speed towards this big braking point. I think I'm going to take that line a little more frequently, maybe refine it a tiny bit, but I think that's the sweet spot. Coming up to that heavy braking point there. Coming out of it pretty nicely. You can see the SLS wants to torque around a little bit because basically I just kept getting on the throttle too early. I should have just waited and carried my speed up the hill a little bit better, but just kept getting on the gas. I'm carrying a lot of speed through here, not as much as the RUF was. He goes straight into the only concrete barrier on the ring. That's quite the achievement. And then coming up to this uphill section, I think I owe it to him. He would have been right on my tail if it weren't for that. This BMW Z4 up here becomes a factor in just a second, and he does nothing wrong. He does everything right. It's just a coincidence. I catch up to him right at the point where we're supposed to be flat out going around a left-hander, and there's no space for two people. So we're supposed to be flat out from back out of that corner that we just exited all the way up here. You can see I'm getting up on him, and this next left-hander is flat out. You want to go from right to left, back out to the right. There's no way you're going to go side by side with someone through there at these speeds. So I had to back out of it, allowing this Yellowbird to catch up a little bit. And I get by him just in time for this right-hander, and the Porsche puts himself beside him during it. Very dangerous. Z4 files in behind right away. He's like, gosh, get me back on the racing line, please. I'm sick of riding the right shoulder. Now I've got this crazy Yellowbird on my tail. Now, someone wise told me once, I want the aggressive drivers out in front of me where I can see them and manage them. I probably should have taken that advice, so they can't pull something like this. The initial contact was reckless. I left space, but after that we sort of just hit like a jumbling frequency, and it ended up putting us both in the wall. So I was kind of spazzing out, honking aggressively. KTX Crossbow flashing his lights needs to watch one of my videos on why you shouldn't do that. You never really know who you're flashing. Anyway, the yellow Porsche going out of the circle, the carousel there, giving me hope that he is, I've seen him make a few mistakes now, he seems to be consistently sloppy. Credit where credit's due, that Porsche is a handful. There's no ABS, there's no traction, engines in the back, it's got a lot of horsepower, rear wheel drive, it's a handful. Very impatient Crossbow, I decided to let him go. I mean, he's catching up to a train of chaos. I don't know why he'd want to, but he wants to, so let him go. Anyway, that Porsche is a handful is all I was saying, and you can see right here, he's sort of sliding around these corners, and then we have a bit of an incident. The Red Alpha just runs into the back of the Z4 and then takes out the Crossbow, giving me a clear shot at my prize, the Yellowbird, who makes it rather easy for me. A heavy case of trail braking causes him to oversteer into the barrier, taking away his braking point, somehow keeping on the track. I decide to just pressure the crap out of him. The slightest little tap, I get up beside him, and deja vu, only, shoes on the other foot now, or whatever the saying is. And probably the most Canadian revenge ever. I give him the lightest tap, he gets a little oversteer, and we're all fine. Now, for a second there, I thought he might have been humbled by the experience because he seems to be sitting back, but I just knocked him out of his power band for a second. That Porsche has a huge turbo in it, so a lot of its power and speed comes in the upper RPM. If you fall out of it, it's a nightmare getting back up to speed. Anyway, I was just talking about how easy it is for that back end to come out, how hard this car is to handle. You can see here in these flat out sections where you have to modulate throttle, it's a nightmare because, I mean, all you have to do is partially lift in that car when you're going that fast, and you're gonna get some oversteer. You're gonna induce some oversteer. It's very sketchy. It's a very quick car, but you have to take the perfect line. It is so unforgiving. I probably have 20 plus minutes of content I'm sitting on where I'm just trying to do a lap in that damn car, and it's very difficult. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's basically the end of the lap, just a couple corners to go. I want to say really quick before we go, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I'm posting this around the holiday season, so have a good one. It cuts off right after I finish, but I got an 8-minute lap, 0.9 or something like that. You only get a second to look at it, so pause it if you're interested in that stuff. Have a great day.